What comes first, belief or action? Do you need to believe that you can do a thing before you can do it? Fake it until you make it is one option, but incredibly hard if you're introspective and have low self-belief and high standards. So what about make it until you believe it? Here are some lessons that I've learned.
You don't see things as they are. You see them through your own fears and hopes. You don't see yourself as you are. You see the story you keep repeating about who you are. You don't see the future as it is. You see the version you believe is possible.
Everybody else feels, or to me, it always seems like everyone else has got it together. Because I get to see only what you choose to say, only what I'm around you doing that I get to see, whereas I get to observe my own inefficiency and foibles 10,000 times a second, right? I get to watch the texture of my own mind be completely unresponsive and useless. I see every single prideful decision, every single lie that I tell myself, every single time I make a promise and don't keep it. But I don't get to see that from everyone. So I'd always presume, because of this asymmetry, that everybody else had it sorted and I didn't. And it also made me think that everybody else's opinion was this perfectly balanced, well-researched, beautifully, they had me nailed down to a T. And what they were telling me was the truth. You are your own worst enemy. You waste precious time dreaming of the future instead of engaging in the present. Since nothing seems urgent to you, you're only half involved in what you do.
Oh, once I've got this done, once I get my degree, then life will begin. Once I've just got to pass these exams and get to that thing and buy that house, and then I've just got to pay this off, and then I've got to do, and then we can start.
It's a very instrumental view of life, that everything is done in order to achieve the next thing. So at no point do you actually arrive.
So the question is, should I spend my whole life now just following this pattern? Working for something that I put in my mind that I want, achieving it, and then realizing at some point, lifetime is gone. Already this type of pattern, to observe it, can break a cycle.
Let me be very clear. I'll never give up. Never.
Which is, what if I keep doing what I'm currently doing for the next 10 years? What will my life look like then? That usually takes my current pain and then just magnifies it. And then that allows me to get my action threshold high enough that it goes over the edge so that I can take that first move.
When you have an unmade decision, every single second that you spend thinking about the unmade decision could have been gotten back had you just made the decision. And realizing that it's a justification for eating frogs earlier in the day. I need to answer that email. The longer that you wait until you answer that email, the more times you will think the thought, I need to answer that email.
Yeah.
And if we assume that what truly, truly matters in life is the time and the attention that we spend within that time, your time is being captured and your attention is being captured by a thought that could have been gotten rid of had you have just done it. Had you have just had the conversation, broken up with the relationship, left the job, told the father, whatever. Done your stretches, cleaned your teeth, had a shower, whatever it is that you needed to do. All of that anxiety cost could have been gotten rid of had you just gone and done it.
I never feel pain. I done felt too much pain. And I said, this is the happiest day of my life. I love cutting the grass low. People wasn't really with you, they was part-time. People switch up when it's wartime. I'd rather have people who are really with me and not people who are just trying to use me.
Listen, as a friend, when all that fear that's in your head, all the what ifs and the scenarios that you create inside your own mind that are way worse than anything that is actually going to happen, they all disappear when you go. So just take action and start moving forward.
Action is an antidote to anxiety.
Man, action's an antidote to all kinds of problems.
And the idea of just living an okay life just sounds so terrifying to me, that the freedom to fail over and over again is still more fulfilling to me. At least it feels like it's real than walking through kind of on autopilot.
And I'm telling you from the bottom of my soul, it is so easy to beat people today. They are so soft. They have no work ethic. No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They're on social media. They're counting their fucking notifications because they can't stick with shit. They can't say no.
And so when I was 19 and I was terrible, I thought, perfect.
I've got 5 years.
This is where I'm supposed to be right now. So I had this clock that was very aware that this was going to take time, and that I had to look at the failure as the path to success.
As somebody who doesn't believe they're particularly talented, it's all the more important that I outwork everyone in the room. You have to bleed in order for it to be the highest expression of what you're capable of. Talent doesn't matter. You have the ability to outwork everyone in the room.
Any person, any human realizes that if you want some kind of a good outcome, you're going to have to work hard for it. and if you don't work hard for something, you're not going to get an outcome that's really worth much.
Well, that is the thing that separates the achievements on the other side of it, right?
Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X. Because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we become along the way. I think that if we make who we become the goal, rather than the thing that we achieve, instead of winning once a decade, we can win every day. Because you can continually get better at being who you are, and then the achievement is just one milestone along the path. Shifting from who I become rather than what I achieve, or who I become as the achievement, has been a wonderful reframe. If you don't know why you believe what you believe, it's not your belief, it's someone else's. And so if you can't explain, like, why am I not doing this? If you can't actually explain it, it's because there's someone else's voice that is influencing you that you're not aware of. Is Tom's approval worth more than the dream that you want to pursue?
Those two things go hand in hand. The more that you can look at things that are true, that you dislike about yourself and your life, the more that you're going to be able to mature. And so any type of descent, any type of collapse, any type of falling apart, there's not only a demonization of that, but we have devalued that period of time because it's brutal, it's hard.
That you have to face what you don't want to face in order to fix it.
Yeah.
And so you look at all the things about yourself that need to be burned off, that need to be dispensed with. And that, man, especially at the beginning, especially if you're screwed up, that might be like 95% of you just has to go up in flames.
The issue that I thought would be fixed by getting the thing wasn't fixed.
No.
Fuck, I need to look deeper. So not only do we refuse to sort of learn the lessons, I think that we believe our particular mental makeup would allow us to dance through this minefield.
Yeah.
Right? No. My unique inner landscape would be salved by this problem.
Especially men.
Watch me dance through this minefield, avoid all of the tripwires, do a couple of pirouettes, and I won't kick any of them.
You can't move into the future. You cannot move on if you still carry old baggage inside of you. Yeah, maybe people take it as normal to live a life and keep regret and keep frustration and keep all these things inside of them and not heal it, not let it out, not express it, not learn a way to get rid of it. Yeah, but at the same time, I also believe this is the reason why people suffer.
Victims see their past as their fate. Champions see their past as their origin story. And so a lot of people are living through their origin story right now, or they're living through the very reason that they'll never be successful, but it could be the exact same situation. As weird of a construct as this is, the past doesn't exist. Just gone, it's not anywhere. And so the only thing that we absolutely have control over is the actions that we take right now. And it only matters if you make it matter. I'd say one of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero.
And at that time, at mile 81, something clicked that I'll never probably be able to do again, when my mind, body, spirit, soul, everything just connected. And my mind knew I wasn't fucking around anymore. It knew I wasn't gonna quit. It knew that guy was dead and buried and gone. And I was gonna die out here on this fucking well for whatever reason why. It was nothing. It wasn't about nothing. There was no nothing. It was a bunch of people who didn't know who the fuck I was, and it was me against me. And I used all these different dark places to start bringing out light.
In those moments, Those are the moments of truth that no one sees, where you're at your breaking point. And that's where faith comes in, honestly. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to hold that vision for the better life of your aspirations. The truth is, the real work is in the drudgery.
Correct.
And the difficult, anonymous work of shoveling shit every single day.
My mind doesn't think I can do it. I'm severely underestimating my strength that I can't pick this can up. But when I get to the gym, I need to overpower my mind and just do it. I need to understand that I still have the muscle, I still have the strength. I'm just being a lazy little bitch right now. And I need to pick up that weight and do it and overpower it.
That any man under the age of 30 should be able to walk into any room and know if shit got real, they could kill and eat everybody or outrun them. You should be really strong and really fast. Like, it just felt fucking awesome to feel like if a fight broke out at a bar, I could step in between the two and have the physical presence to de-escalate.
It's not your conditions, it's your decisions that determine the quality of your life. I had pretty rough conditions growing up, to say the least, but I turned those into good conditions because of a mindset, because of certain psychology, because of certain decisions. Self-esteem is earned by yourself, with yourself. What people have said has zero impact on your self-esteem, and telling people they're great or not great does not change it. The way you develop esteem for yourself is by doing difficult things that you know are right. When you do something that you know is right, even though it's difficult, your esteem for yourself grows. And
developing worth, which is confronting and doing hard things that you know are hard, that you know you need to do, always develop a sense of worth and value. And so if you are a man that you're just a big feeler, you're a big softy inside, and you have this, beautiful treasure trove of emotions that no one's really ever ushered you into understanding. No one's really ever taught you what to do with them, how to handle them, how to deal with that intensity that lives inside of you. You have to choose whether or not you're going to address them. And I think what you said is accurate, that if you don't, you'll always kind of be a ghost floating around in your own body, because you will be cutting yourself off from a part of who you actually are. You will literally be disassociating from a part of who you are.
But that's where the true transformation starts to happen. When you can look at people, anybody, thousands of people, one person, and say, hey, this is who I am. And this is where I have to fix myself.
For men, you can be this fucking killer who cries. I want to be the best version of myself, and that's my biggest goal. But underneath that, I want to fucking win. I want to fucking embarrass everybody on stage. But when I don't, I'm not any less of a man. I'm still just as, I still value myself. I'm just as worthy of a human being. But that's just, I still want to fucking fuck shit up over there,
Yeah.
So being able to intertwine that and just believe that they can coexist, I think is something just super important to set off on that journey.
I like me. I would buy me a drink. I look at me now and I see all the warts. Okay, I see all the negatives more than anybody else does. I see the positives. And over the whole balance of stuff, I like me.
The person you have to spend the most time listening to in your life is yourself. Try not to lose their respect. Before you win, everyone will ask you why you're working so hard. And after you win, everyone will remind you how lucky you got. If that doesn't just go to show that most people are not worth listening to, like myself included, right? Being attacked is a sign that you are important enough to be a target. You should relish the attention and the chance to prove yourself.
Yeah. Well, you want, if everything is easy in life, if everyone loves what you're going to do, and you have no enemies, you have no opposition, nothing to resist, you're just going to be mush. You're not going to amount to anything. You're not going to be able to push yourself. You're not going to be able to change, evolve. Muhammad Ali said, if I didn't have Joe Frazier around, I would not have become the great boxer that I am.
I believe in this is for me, and that is not for me. And because that is not for me, if you do trespass into my space upon me and my family, I will do my best to cause consequences. And I'm going to let you know that. I hope that's apparent, because I'm not going to intrude on you. But if you trespass that, I'm going to stand up for it.
We're going to be the biggest YouTube channel ever. I was like, I don't care. I'll f***ing die trying. I'm going to obsess and grind. And they're always like, you know, eventually you'll get burnt out. Eventually he's going to slow down. He can't just grow like this forever. I was like, no.
Identity is the controlling force of human being. If you are of an identity that says, I always find the way to victory, you will find the victory. What makes people, by the way, miserable is when they feel events control them versus they control events. And all it is a shift in here and here, right? So your identity is everything. And so you have to be careful because very often in life, we identify to who we were a while ago. Like if I asked someone in an event to do something, go, I'm not that kind of person. Well, when did you decide what kind of person you were? 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Would you use a phone from 10 years ago? You'd be an idiot. Why would you use the same old identity?
I'm an artist. And every day I'm painting Mona Lisa. Every day. But it's a different one. It's not the same painting. So every day I wake up, even though I do the same thing, it takes a different way to get there. And the masterpiece is always myself. But to do that, you cannot have any distractions. Because if you're talking to an artist and he's trying to think about the next painting, he can't. It's impossible to listen to you and listen to what your mind and body are telling you we must do.
You know, there's a theatrical element to the social world, which I embrace and I think is kind of fun and interesting and is part of the 48 laws of power. So when you enter the world, you're not yourself. I think it's a mistake people make. They have no distance between their inner self and their public self. So they enter the work world and people are different and weird and stuff, and they take it personally. And I try instructing people, it's not personal, it's a game. People are wearing masks. It's like something from the 18th century where people are in costumes and they're in theater and they're performing. People are constantly performing.
No one is going to beat you at being you. One of the things I like to say is like, find what feels like play to you, but looks like work to others. So it looks like work to them, but to you it feels like play. It's not work. So you're going to outcompete them because you're doing it effortlessly. You're doing it for fun. They're doing it for work. They're doing it for some byproduct. To you, it's art, it's beauty, it's joy, it's flow.
One day that thing's going to come up. And if you're not constantly performing without purpose, you're not going to be ready when the time comes. It's this magical thing, purpose, that we're all looking for. But what's funny about it all is that we need these things to perform. But we don't take a second to realize the purpose is always there. The purpose never leaves us because the very purpose is you.
You know, when life throws some shit at us, you're having this baby. You're not choosing not to have this baby. You're going to go through this pain. You're going to go through the suffering. How are you going to choose to show up? Like I was talking about before, there are things out of your control. What's in your control? How can you take that power back into your own hands? And what are you going to take from it? What kind of meaning can you find from taking power out of what you feel powerless in?
Again, I'm nervous before I'm going to go speak or something. I got a little thing in my wallet. You're going to die one day, McConaughey. And I'm like, that relaxes me. If I'm going in, complacent, I got another note and tell myself, what you're about to say and do will outlive you. So you better fucking do it well.
For me personally, there's no lack of urgency when I wake up in the morning to think, oh, don't worry, I got all the time in the world, because I know I don't. And I'm lucky to be here, and I'm going to try and live in a way that will at least do justice for my friends that aren't here.
I will never wish for fewer epic stories at the end of my life. And I've never regretted failures. I've always regretted things that I didn't try. And so just along those lines of trying to create more bias internally towards action rather than inaction, and normalizing consequences of failure as we said earlier, win or learn.
But what if you just today just made the decision, because they're all decisions, I've already won. I've already won. That's it. I'm alive. I've got one good friend. I've got one I'm sure every one of us can find something in our lives that we like. Things are okay. And this idea of already thinking of yourself as having won the game and the rest of life is simply, it's all after the finish line. It's anything you want to do after the finish line. Go have a good time.
Enjoy it. Make the best of it. It's even briefer than that. Each moment just disappears. It's gone. There's only a present moment, and it's gone instantly. So if you're not there for it, if you're stressed out or you're anxious or you're thinking about something else, you missed it. So any moment When you're not in that moment, you are dead to that moment.
Life is going to play out the way it's going to play out. There will be some good and some bad. Most of it is actually just up to your interpretation. You're born, you have a set of sensory experiences, and then you die. How you choose to interpret those experiences is up to you, and different people interpret them in different ways.